Over my years of creating home and organization content here on YouTube, I've tried a lot of hacks, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite home hacks that I literally use still to this day that I think just make for a more stress-free life and make keeping your home organized a lot easier. Okay, we are going to start in the clothing department. I find that clothing in general can be one of the hardest places to keep minimized and to keep organized. Our wardrobe is one of those places that lots of times stuff just ends up finding its way in. By developing a method to have a more minimized wardrobe though, seriously is a huge game changer. Because not only does clothing take up a lot of space, but it takes up a lot of our time to manage it as well. I'm constantly working on tweaking my wardrobe to keep it as minimal as possible. And one of my favorite hacks around this is to actually consider storing more of just a capsule wardrobe in your main like closet or dresser and having excess clothing stored somewhere else. I have a video that I'm gonna link down below called Backwards Closet Decluttering, which really goes through this a little bit more, but it really talks about taking out your tried and true pieces, the ones that you are wearing every single day, putting those in your main wardrobe, and taking the extra stuff that I might wear these later, the stuff that you're not ready to purge or get rid of yet, because sometimes it's just hard to get rid of clothes, or the things that you save because you're like, I might have to go to a special event sometime, and storing those like literally somewhere else. I have like 3 garment bags that I keep in my basement. I use this for seasonal clothing, so I'm not keeping winter stuff out when it is not winter. And then we also have a bag that's like our more like nicer formal stuff that we don't necessarily need to keep in our everyday wardrobe. When you have a wardrobe that you can go into and it's basically just all stuff that you can wear right now, you're not like weeding through your nice tops, you're not weeding through the stuff that doesn't quite fit right now. It makes your life so much easier. And I think that if you can really master your closet, it will help you master a lot of other organizational problems in your life. But the thing about closets is you really have to stay on top of it. For me, I tend to every other week as I'm putting laundry away, really assess what my wardrobe is looking like. Are these pieces I'm currently wearing? Has it gotten too cold for this? Does this piece not fit anymore? Do I not like this anymore? Like I'm constantly trying to keep this wardrobe as minimal as possible so it's all just the stuff that I'm really wearing right now. And on the note of clothing, I will mention having a routine for your laundry can be a total game changer. Now I have tried doing laundry a lot of different ways. I've tried the method of doing a load every day, so like washing, drying, and putting away. I have tried doing all of the laundry in a single day. I have tried doing laundry by person. I have tried all of the methods. And what I find is there's not one right way. It really depends on you, your family, and your schedule. When I only had 1 kid, doing laundry by person made the most sense for us. We usually would have like 2 days per person assigned. I do all my son's clothes, put away, all my clothes, put them away, and then it was my husband's turn to do his clothes. Now that I have 3 kids, doing 5 people's clothing by day is totally not manageable at all. I also find in my day-to-day schedule, doing a load all the way through it every single day also doesn't work for me. The method that works really well for me is that I do laundry every day in the sense that I'm always adding laundry, or I'm always drying laundry, or I'm always putting laundry into a clean basket, but I only do 2 big put away days a week. I have a big put away day on Sunday for my children. All of their clothes get put away. They help me put their stuff away. I pull out everything they're going to wear that week. Then I have 1 big put away day, usually for my husband and I. My husband will take his stuff, put it away. I'll take my stuff and put it away. I get asked a lot about laundry, and I think the moral of the story that I've really discovered is there's not one right way to do it. It's just picking the way that makes sense for you and then sticking to it. So pick a routine and then stick to it. If you have a routine that you are following, it's literally tiny little steps that you can do every single day. I also think as you're buying your clothes, just being more intentional about buying really versatile pieces that you can mix and match. There's nothing worse than having that like 1 sweater or whatever that can only be worn with like that 1 pair of pants with those 1 pair of shoes, and you have to wear that belt with it. It almost just becomes more of a burden than it's worth. I am a huge believer in robot vacuums. I got my first robot vacuum the year before we had our first baby, but it is honestly just so nice that when I go to bed, I know my floors are getting vacuumed. Maybe it's not amazing. No, it's not going behind the couch, but it's just this like little general daily task that I can sort of outsource to this robot to know that it's getting done. You know, we all talk about when we have too many things on our plate, what can we do right now? What can we outsource? And what can we maybe save for later, right? And I just feel like this is one of those things that you can very easily outsource. Quick break to thank the sponsor for today's video, which is BetterHelp. If we're talking about stress management, of course we have to talk about BetterHelp. I've shared them with you a few times in the past. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service that is 100% online. What I love about BetterHelp is that accessibility, that you don't have to worry about getting into an office, rearranging your schedule. We already got enough going on, so you might as well hack this part of your calendar as well and take care of this sort of stuff on your own schedule, on your own time. To get started with BetterHelp, you're just going to answer a couple of questions. It's going to pair you with one of its licensed therapists from its network of over 30,000 therapists, and then you can choose to talk with this person on your own time and how you want. Whether you want to do it via text, you want to do a video call, you want to do a voice call, you want to do your call at night, you want to do it in the morning, you want to squeeze it in during your kid's nap. It is all on your time from your own space. Getting help for stress shouldn't be more stressful. To try BetterHelp for yourself, you can visit betterhelp.com/buttfirscoffee. That's better HELP/buttfirscoffee, or you can click the link that I have right in my description box down below. When you use my link, it will give you 10% off your first month. Next up is to either invest in some cord management organizers or find a cord management system that works for you and your cords. There are way too many cords in our life. And yes, there are like a variety of cords. Like you have this one thing that needs this cord and the other thing needs that cord. But I find like in general, the main like four are what? We have like a USB, a micro USB, a USB-C, HDMI. Every single item you buy that gets charged with one of these things is gonna come with a charger. How many USB Type-Cs do you really need? Probably not 50. Probably 4 or 5 will suffice. So take a look at your cords, declutter a ton of the duplicates that you have, invest in some management systems that you can use to keep those cords better organized. Because we've all been in that place where we're looking for that one cord and we're like, we got the bucket. We all got the cord bucket, right? I mean, listen, I'm not perfect here. I got a cord bucket in the basement, so I need to take some of my own advice here. We all got a cord bucket that's just all the cords that we don't really know what they belong to, but we're keeping them because we're worried that we might need them someday. But then the truth is, when we actually do need them, we're not gonna know where to find them. You think we're gonna go into the cord bucket and we're gonna detangle all the cords? We're probably not going to. We are gonna go online and we're gonna be like, we need this cord, and then we're gonna pay $9.99 to have it shipped to our house. So anyways, minimize your cords, keep the ones that you know you're definitely using, and then find a way to keep them organized so that when you are looking for them, you can find them. It's a little bit of effort for a lot of reward. If you don't have a label maker, here's your sign. Next time you're at Target just wandering the aisles and you see a label maker, I want you to picture my face saying, here's your sign to get a label maker. I'm telling you, labels make a huge difference. I have said this probably 1 million times on this channel, but I know it seems a little redundant to label things in our own house because we're like, hey, I put it there. I know where it goes. I made this organizational structure. But one, no offense, don't give yourself so much credit. How many items have you organized in your life? You really are inventorying all of that in your brain as well. And not to mention, even if you really do remember every single little cup where every single thing goes, why not help your brain out? Because when there is a label there, it is a shortcut for your brain. It is one less thing that your brain has to process in order to get the thing back where it goes. Labels keep things more organized. Labels make it more likely that things go back to where they're supposed to go. Labels are easier on your brain, and it makes it easier for other people in your household, or even if you have guests, to know where to find things and where to put things back. This next hack I got when I hired a professional organizer. I will link that video down below. When we had our kitchen renovated, I decided to hire a professional organizer to see if it was worth having a professional organizer. And one thing they taught me to do was to store my Tupperwares with the lids on. In my mind, this made no sense. I was like, this takes up more space. As somebody who has always lived in smaller homes, I'm all about space management and saving space. But what I ended up finding was not only did it really not take up all that much more space, but two, all of the lids to all of my Tupperwares stay together when I store them together. I'm just saying, I was a skeptic who became a believer. Store your Tupperwares with the tops on them. It is the way to do it. Next hack is store things where you use them, even if that maybe doesn't make sense. I will give you an example. We have a cupboard in our kitchen, and inside of it I have all of my daughter's hair stuff as well as the clothes that my kids are going to wear for that week. Clothes and hair stuff in a kitchen maybe doesn't make sense, but when you think about it, I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. It's less the 5-year-old that makes us do this. If I got my 2-year-old dressed upstairs in her bedroom when she woke up and then came downstairs and fed her breakfast, she would go to school with breakfast down her shirt every single day. We don't put our clothes on until after breakfast, and ushering all my children back upstairs to the bedroom to get dressed and then all the way back downstairs would most certainly add at least 20 minutes of just mindless whatever. We would go up there, someone would play a game, someone would be up on the bunk bed, someone would be playing slide on the stairs. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it to go back up the stairs. We keep the clothes right here in the kitchen because after breakfast, we get dressed. And while my daughter is eating her breakfast and is distracted, that's when I do her hair, okay? So it doesn't make sense to store this stuff somewhere else. It doesn't make sense for me to have to go all the way to the bathroom to get her hair stuff to come back into the kitchen to do her hair while I'm doing her hair while she's eating breakfast. So sometimes we keep things in a certain place based on like where we think it should go, right? Hair stuff in our mind goes in the bathroom. But start to think about storing stuff directly where you use it, because not only is it easier to grab it when it's time to do it, but it is 1,000 times more likely you're going to put it back where it goes when you're storing it where you use it. And that is going to keep your house more tidy and more organized. You do not need to store your duplicates in the same place that you store the one that you are currently using. Let's talk about some examples. Okay, spice jars. I decant all of my spices. Some people on the internet love this. Some people hate me for it. I don't care. I love it. But I don't keep the extra spices like in the same area as those spices. I have an overstock bin. I keep it nearby. It's above the spices, but the duplicates are not there where the spices are. They have their own duplicate area. Another example just above that, I have a overstock like sauces container. So this is for if the ketchup was buy one get one free, or I happen to get like 2 for $5 barbecue sauce or something. I'm not keeping both of the sauces where my in-use sauce is. I'm putting one of the duplicates way up there, and I will grab it when the other one is out. I feel like, especially if you are somebody who relies on online shopping, lots of times the things that you are buying, you are getting in duplicates. It drives me crazy when my husband buys packing tape. He literally buys a 6-pack of packing. Do you know how big a roll of packing tape is? No. We keep one roll out. The other 5 rolls get stored somewhere else, in a supply closet, whatever. You find somewhere else to store the duplicates, and just the one that is in use comes out. I suggest overstock bins. You want it all sort of in a consolidated area, because that way when you're out of the one in use, you kind of have one spot that you know to check for the duplicates, and then if it's not there, you know you're actually out. Get really strict about your flat surfaces. Flat surfaces love to collect clutter. You've heard me talk about flat surfaces a million times. I have entire videos dedicated just to flat surfaces, because flat surfaces are the easiest culprit of collecting things, and as they collect things, they collect more things, and it spirals out of control really fast. I at least twice a day do flat surface sweeps. I go through my house, I'm looking at what's on flat surfaces, and I'm just getting those things back to where they go. It's not always perfect. I'm not always getting it all back. I'm sometimes creating little piles. Piles are not the solution, but at least I'm doing something, and I'm tending to my flat surfaces a few times a day, because they will just accumulate. Don't fall into the convenience illusion of thinking that leaving something out is more convenient, because it almost never is. Leaving it out is just going to lead to more clutter. When you look at your space and it looks cluttered, it is going to lead to more stress. It's going to make you feel anxious. You're going to be like, I need to get to that. It's adding to the sort of like silent to-do list that we have in our mind, right? You're leaving out the box because you're like, in 2 days I can go to the post office and return it, but every time you look at the box now you're like, oh my god, I have to return it, and then you're just sort of adding to that silent to-do list and giving yourself a bunch of stress. Leaving something out is almost never ever more convenient. Take appliances off your kitchen counters and put them away. It takes 10 seconds to put them away, it takes 15 seconds to take them back out. It's really not that big of a deal, and having the cleared off counters really makes a huge difference. It is so nice when you walk into a space and your counters are cleared, or your space is cleared, or the table is clear, or the nightstand is clear, and you can just utilize it and use it instead of being like, I got all this crap out and I don't know what to do. Let's talk about minimizing by your entryway, whether that's a back door or like a garage, whatever the door is that you're often coming in. These tend to be major drop zones where shoes just get cluttered, jackets just get cluttered. So create some systems in these areas that often get cluttered. One of my favorite tips, 2 shoes in the entryway per person is plenty. I'm really always trying to rotate out. It can get hard during different seasons, right? Like in the summer, we usually want swim shoes and maybe flip-flops. And then you get through the rainy season, we have rain boots, we have winter boots. Really try to focus on 2 shoes per person. Keep those other shoes stored somewhere else, and try to keep it just to the main 2 by the entryway to help minimize the clutter of shoes. Have an easy place for jackets and hats to go. Have an easy place for keys to go. Have an easy place for things to get hung up, for backpacks, for lunch boxes. A simple place where they can get hung so they don't end up thrown on the ground.